The other day I was writing on my journal, and by the way, writing on a journal is something that I do often, that I've been doing for years actually, and it always felt good to do. But in recent days, I've been trying to be more honest. Like I've always felt that I was what I was writing was honest. However, I wasn't really. I was kind of writing about my days, and I don't journal every day. I want to make that clear. But whenever I do journal, I would describe what I had done and how that experience, whatever it was, felt. But I never felt that journaling, but I always was kind of writing it very, I would make efforts to write it in a kind of, I don't know why, like I was writing an essay, like I was always trying to be proper as I was writing. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was trying to be proper. And I don't know why recently I wrote in a very improper way, messy even, and it felt like I finally found journaling to be what true journaling is. And I wrote about how I feel right now. I feel like a failure, and I never wanted to write those things because I felt that if I did write them, they would be real. But the truth is that they feel real, so I had to write it. And I don't want to be too harsh on myself or anything, but the truth is that I do kind of feel like a failure. I feel that I haven't really done much of the things I thought I was gonna do. I've always feel like I'm never at a point where I feel like I'm ready, if that makes sense. And I don't want to judge myself, of course, because I do feel like I make progress, but that's how I feel. Like I feel like I always make progress, but I never get to where I want to be. And that level of honesty in my writing and writing about myself and admitting to myself that I'm a failure felt so liberating. So I came up with a list of 10 questions that have been really helpful for me to deal with myself, to deal with my thoughts and my fears and anxieties. And I tend to, in this past few months, I've been feeling afraid that I'm behind in life. In my late 20s, I'm 27, so I feel like I have to, and I don't really have anything that's meaningful other than my life, which is meaningful, but I don't know. I feel childish sometimes, even though I know that I'm not, because I moved to a new country by myself and with my savings, and I'm gonna do a program, and I'm here to study and to hopefully get a job. And so I know that I'm not childish. However, I don't fully feel like an adult. I don't know how to explain that, even though the thing is I kind of do know why, because I spent a good almost a decade of my life being deeply depressed, and I pretty much from age 17 till I was 25, so I've only felt like a human being for 2 years, for a little over 2 years. So I don't feel like an adult. By the way, going back to the fact that I moved to a new city, I was thinking about buying clothes, because I would go outside and I would see girls dressed in nice summer clothes, and I thought I should buy clothes that look like that. And I went to the store, and as I was looking for things, I realized I don't think I would wear this. Like, this is not me. And the first question that I came up with is a simple one: is this really me? And this could be used in many settings. Like, I know it's so trivial and silly to think about clothes, but I was gonna spend money on things that I know realistically are not me. I know that I wouldn't really wear, just because I wanted to belong. And I thought about that in other aspects as well. Like, all my life I've kind of been buying things that I don't really want, or doing things that are not the things that I really want. I've been doing kind of an exercise every morning when I wake up, and I basically ask myself, what do I really want out of this day? What do I really want? How do I want this day to go? And how could I make it a good day? It's so hard to truly be yourself. That's what I've realized, that to be honest with yourself and to truly embrace who you are, it's so hard. It's so hard. Another one of my fears is lateness, feeling behind in life. I think the first thing I have to do, and if you're someone who's feeling behind, you have to do, is forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself for not starting sooner, I suppose. And in my case, I really do have to forgive myself because I was in a bad place emotionally. So there wasn't much that I could do. And the question that I came up to deal with this idea of lateness, of feeling behind, is who do I want to be when I'm 70, and how do I get there, and how much time do I have to get there? And it sounds silly, but the truth is that it makes me realize just how young I am, because me being 70 is like a long way from now. So I think about, I'm not really behind. I know the late 20s feels so final, and that's the truth. I feel like something's ending, but it's so young. Like when I think about, if I were to start learning a skill today, and in 10 years I'm probably gonna be a master at whatever skill I try to learn, and I'm still gonna be pretty young because I'm still gonna be in my 30s. So when I think about that, it's like life truly feels like it's just beginning. Like thinking about my 70s makes me feel really young, and it makes me feel alive, and I'm gonna be thinking about that a lot. Like I want to make a life for myself that my 70-year-old self feels proud of. Like I want to be cool when I'm 70. This next issue that I deal with is anxiety, and of course this is a mental illness that I deal with, and it's not something that I can control fully. However, because I'm older now, and when I was younger I would have panic attacks all the time, and I didn't know how to deal with them, and I had therapy, I had medication, I had a lot of things, and kind of I never felt that I had a grasp of my anxiety until recently. So the questions that I have, and these are a few questions, is how are my body and mind reacting to this fear? That's number one, because to me anxiety is very physical, and that's what makes it so hard for me to deal with, because it is very physical. I feel sick physically when I'm feeling afraid. I get headaches, I get stomach aches, I sweat a lot, I just feel dizzy, like I don't feel well physically when I'm afraid, and it's hard to deal with, because yes, I can control my thoughts. I could try to control them as much as I can, but in the end, the physical reaction of my body is hard to control. So that's number one. How are my body and mind reacting to this fear? Second would be, what is causing me this fear? I'm someone who has a tendency of thinking that everything is gonna go wrong, like I've said before. So I have anticipation anxiety for things all the time. So when I pinpoint what is causing me fear, how it's reacting to my body, then comes the third question, which is, what's the worst that could happen if my fear becomes a reality? What's the worst that could happen? Like, actually, let's say that I'm gonna think about something that I'm afraid of. One example would be social interactions, which are kind of difficult for me. However, the thing is that I'm always kind of thinking that people are not gonna like me. Another thing I have to journal about, that's not the point of this video, and so I end up picturing scenarios where people are not gonna wanna be near me or talk to me, or they're gonna reject me. And I thought that would be the worst that could happen, like I get rejected. And then I thought, and then comes the last question, which is, why would that be so terrible to be rejected? Like, if someone rejected me, that's one person. If 10 people reject me, that's 10 people, but that's still a very small number. Not everyone is gonna reject me, so I need to chill. Like, it's really like I need to be less serious about this idea that people are gonna reject me and that no one's gonna like me. It's so, when you really think about it this way, like, it's, you start to notice that all these fears and anxieties are kind of silly. For most of my life, I kind of defined myself as someone who is introverted, shy, and socially anxious. And I kind of developed an identity around that. It's when I, like I said, writing things down makes you realize just how. So because of that, because I've developed this identity, I kind of isolated myself. But the thing is that when I think about that, like, is loneliness so terrible? Is solitude so terrible? I do think I'm an introvert. Like, I do think I don't need the stimulation that an extrovert might need to be around people. I don't need that. However, I don't think, and I do think that I do have that my social skills are not the greatest. That's because I've isolated myself. But I'm thinking that when I do know how to talk to people, like when I have to do it, like I do it. Yes, I'm afraid, and yes, I overthink it, but I do it. So I shouldn't really think of myself as being shy, because in the end I'm really not. And I realized that I'm actually not. That's what I realized, that I'm not really shy, because I'm not. And I kind of made my whole identity around the fact that I'm shy, but I'm really not, because I'm really not shy. Like, genuinely, I'm not. It just takes me a long time to get used to people, but once I do, it's like I don't experience shyness. I'm gonna have like an identity crisis, because like I'm realizing that I'm not a lot of the things I thought I was. Yeah. But again, would solitude and loneliness be so terrible? It's really not. Like, when I go out right now, that I have no one in this city, I don't have any friends, and I don't know anyone. And I go out and I go to the park and I go by myself and I sit down on a bench and I look around, and I don't feel sad because I'm by myself. I feel great. I actually have more questions that I want to talk about that I think are useful, but that noise. But I don't want to make this video too long, and so I think I'm gonna make a part 2. And I'm obsessed with this journal. This is my Paper Republic in this beautiful red. Should I go out? I don't really know. It's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm still not used to the Celsius degrees, I have to say. I'm still not used to that. So I have my phone set to Fahrenheit, and I sometimes change it to Celsius, but I still don't get it. Like, 100 degrees makes sense to me, like it's hot. 40 degrees, I don't fully get it, like I said. Anyway, I don't like a lot of things about the United States, but I have to say that the Fahrenheit usage makes more sense. I don't know, it does.